was a baby, a little baby boy, glowing in the straw. All her life, she would remember that moment, how the baby's face flickered, a translucent blue, as if a lantern burned in its skin, the map of veins in its cheeks and arms and throat. She crawled closer. Next to the baby lay its black-haired mother, dead. What governs a life, if not chance? Eliza watched the glow in the little creature's skin slowly seep away, vanish. In that moment, what she'd been and what she would become stretched out before her and behind her in a single, long, continuous line. She crouched on her hands and knees in the straw, swaying with the boxcar, feeling her heart slow, and she might almost have thought she'd dreamed it. That blue shining, might almost have thought the afterglow in her eyelids was just tiredness and fear, and the ache of a fugitive life opening out in front of her. Almost. "Oh, what are you, little one?" she murmured. "Where did you come from?" She was herself not special, not clever. She was small like a bird, with a narrow pinched face and two big eyes and hair as brown and coarse as dry grass. She knew she didn't matter, had been told it since she was a little girl. If her soul belonged to Jesus in the next world, in this one her flesh belonged to any who would feed it, clothe it, shelter it. That was just the world as it was. But as the cold rain clattered and rushed past the open railway siding, and she held the baby close, exhaustion opening in front of her like a door into the dark, she was surprised by what she felt. How sudden it was, how uncomplicated and fierce. It felt like anger and was defiant like anger, but it was not anger. She'd never in her life held anything so helpless and so unready for the world. She started to cry. She was crying for the baby and crying for herself, and for what she could not undo. And after a time, when she was all cried out, she just held the baby and stared out at the rain. Eliza Mackenzie Gray. That was her name. She whispered to the baby over and over, as if it were a secret. She did not add, "Mackenzie because of my father, a good man taken by the law too soon." She did not say, "Gray because of who my mama married after, a man big as my dad, handsome like the devil with a fiddle, who talked sweet in a way Mama thought she liked, but who wasn't the same as his words." That man's charm had faded into drink only weeks after the wedding night, until bottles rolled underfoot in their miserable tenement up north in Leicester, and he'd taken to handling Eliza roughly in the mornings, in a way she, still just a girl, did not understand, and which hurt her and made her feel ashamed. When she was sold out as a domestic at the age of 13, it was her mother who did the selling, her mother who sent her to the agency dry-eyed, white-lipped like death, anything to get her away from that man. And now this other man, her employer, scion of a sugar family, with his fine waistcoats and his pocket watches and his manicured whiskers, who had called her to his study and asked her name, though she'd worked at the house 2 years already by then, and who knocked softly at her room 2 nights ago holding a candle in its dish, closing the door behind him before she could get out of bed, before she could even ask what was the matter. Now he lay dead, miles away, on the floor of her room, in a mess of black blood, dead by her own hand. In the east, the sky began to pale. When the baby started to cry from hunger, Eliza took out the only food she had, a crust of bread and a handkerchief, and she chewed a tiny piece to mush and then passed it to the baby. It sucked at it hungrily,